Hello? Yeah, no, it's me. No, I promise you, this is serious. I need you to answer this question, please. Please. It is paramount that you answer this. Do you know how microphones work? No, like how it actually works, not just I speak into here and it comes out there. I'm not gonna lie, it's whack, but it's fascinating. In this video, we're gonna explain how, and we're gonna pick out which microphone is best for you. Because believe me, it depends.
What's up? Welcome to Ross Fox, voice actor. I'm a gearhead. I love microphones, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really worried in finding a way to explain this to you in a way that doesn't make you want to rip off your ears from boredom or make you like highly skeptical and say, "Are you sure about that?" Yes, I'm sure about that. The world of sound can very quickly derail into a airy-fairy talk of spirituality and frequencies did this to my health and it's mostly because we can't see it. And so when we can't see things, we tend to, I don't know why humans do this, but we tend to attribute it to things of unknown fantasy, healing powers, resonance. To be fair, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. There's a lot of stuff we do. What I know is that whoever thought of the concept of microphones was on crazy crack, no doubt in my mind. So what better way to explain it on a visual learning platform like YouTube than to actually draw it for you? See, Dad? My art classes did turn out useful. I've got a wonderful little dry erase board, and we're gonna draw it out. That just looks like a tampon. We'll leave it at that. Okay, so TLDR, physical sound you make when you talk, when you strum a guitar, when you do whatever. That sound goes into the microphone. That microphone then converts it into electromagnetic signals. Comment down below if anyone can read my handwriting and if I missed my opportunity to become a doctor. Those electromagnetic signals are then digitized. Hello? Oh my God, what the f did they make this out of? There we go. That electromagnetic signal is then sent into the matrix. It is digitized. Zeros and ones and zeros. That whole process is then reversed. The digital signal is then converted back into an electromagnetic signal and then goes into the exact opposite of a microphone, a speaker. And all that a speaker is a piece of membrane that mimics the electromagnetic signal. And this is where it starts to sound absolutely insane. That moving air, the vibrations of that speaker mimic the physical sound that you just made. But not just any sound, right? Not just the exact replica of how I'm saying it and what I'm saying. The specific interpretation of how this mic picks up that sound. And it's this exact interpretation between mics that makes all the difference in what mic you should choose, in how they're meant to be used, in how they change the tonality of your voice. That wasn't really TLDR, but how the mic behaves tells you how it should be used. Again, audio is not visual. So when audio is off or wrong, we tend to describe it in very emotional ways. Oh, it sounds boomy. The low end it sounds tinny. It sounds wrong. It sounds, the creative will often say, oh, can you just make this sound dreamy? Like, I want a sound that goes, like, what do you even mean by that, bro? Fundamentally, the listener is going to notice when something is off. They're just not going to know why. If you use the wrong tools for the job, you're just going to lose out on making your life so much simpler. You could use a cleaver for precision cuts, but it's not designed for that. And if you want precision, you'd be much better off using a utility knife or a small chef's knife. Oh. He's awake. Hello. Hey. Doctors prefer scalpels, but you're not really going to find one of those in the kitchen. But Ross, I hear you say, it's London. Knife's a knife. So surely a mic's a mic. What does it matter so long as I'm prioritizing audio? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Go ahead. Record your stuff on a guitar pickup for all I care. But you have to know why you're doing it. Learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. That's That's Pablo Picasso, baby. You see, Mom? My art classes did turn out useful. I swear. The mics that are relevant to you split up into two factions: dynamic microphones and condenser microphones. What the hell does that even mean for me and my recordings and what I do, Ross? Good question. I'm so glad you asked. Okay, so dynamic microphones, more often used in concerts, radio shows, presidential press conferences, recording drums, mostly because they're very good at handling high sound pressure levels without distorting. You can point them at loud-ass things and they won't distort easily. They won't f up the noise. Dynamic mics, like this one, this is how they work. They have a diaphragm. All a diaphragm is a small membrane, usually really thin metal. Can be other things, but the most durable is going to be a really thin metal plate. And it works exactly the same way as your diaphragm does. That's why it's called that. It moves in and out. It breathes. It's connected to a coil, a little spirally coil. That coil is surrounded by a magnet. That coil surrounds a magnet. Sorry, so the magnet's on the inside. When the diaphragm moves, so you speak la 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 la, sound comes and hits that diaphragm. That diaphragm moves back and forth. And when it moves back and forth, it moves the coil. That coil moves over the magnet. That then generates a signal, an electromagnetic signal. Differences within the diaphragm moving based on when I speak into this mic makes the electromagnetic signal. That then goes along its merry way through the cable, and it's then digitized, ones and zeros, like we talked about. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. That's how a dynamic microphone works. In the world of mics, it takes quite a bit to work this diaphragm, to get it to move. This microphone doesn't have external power. There's no power socket plugged into this. It's getting all of its power from the device that I plug it into, the DAW, the Rode Procaster 2. So loud objects aren't going to negatively impact the hardware of this mic. Flip side of that, because it takes quite a bit of work, relatively speaking, it isn't as sensitive to sound. So you lose detail in what's recorded in dynamic range. So it's a very stylized sound. Listen to the changes in Peter McKinnon's voice that I found here. Yeah, how he normally speaks.
Jesse's been giving me help too, and he's like, I'm still using mics from 2017.
In his SM7B.
I'm gonna give it to you, the audio. I'm gonna give you the audio. That's specifically what I will be delivering to you.
Still Peter McKinnon, totally different tonal quality. That's dynamic. Any podcast you listen to that has that very boomy tone, again, emotive language, that doesn't have a lot of detail in the high end, that has a very, very broadcasty radio sound to their podcasts, is most probably using a condenser mic. All of the mics you see on stage for live concerts, those are condenser mics, taken on the road, beaten until they die, and they're still gonna work. You can still grab it and speak into it, and it'll be fine. You know what, let's record this whole section through a goddamn condenser mic. Oh. All right, you are now hearing everything through my wonderful condenser mic. Let's see if I can do this one-handed as well. Okay, condenser mics. This is the mic that everyone tells you need to start off with. It's the one you need to buy if you're gonna be in the industry. It's what most beginners go out and buy prematurely. Be honest with me. How many of y'all have bought a Blue Yeti? Raise your hands. I'm looking at you, Ollie. Ollie's my editor, guys. Give him a shout out. He's sick. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry buys condenser mics, specifically the Blue Yeti, if they want to be in content creation, and it picks up on everything. Every brand makes a condenser mic. Neumann, Sennheiser, Rode, Lewitt, all of the big boys, they make condenser mics. They are the industry standard. How they work is they have a golden Mentos, is what I call it. Let me show you the golden Mentos. Let's see if we can see it. There it is. You see that? That is called the golden, is what I call the golden Mentos. It's not actually called the golden Mentos. It's called the condenser capsule. What you're gonna notice, actually, you're probably gonna notice just how sensitive this mic is. If I change my holding on this mic, it's just so bloody sensitive. Let's swap back to the other mic because of how sensitive this microphone is. One sec. So you heard that, right? That's a condenser microphone. Incredibly sensitive. They have this big golden capsule in the center, yeah? The capsule sends a signal to a circuit in the mic, yeah? So it has to have external power. That is the preface for condenser mics. Either it's going to be run by batteries, or what you're going to see on your audio gear, plus 48 volts. That is phantom power. It's what the industry calls phantom power. It's basically external power to power the microphone. This Golden Mentos, the capsule, has 3 layers to it. 2 diaphragms on either side, we talked about those earlier. Either gold-plated plastic or really small, thin plates of metal. And the central back plate. As you move and you make sound, it moves this diaphragm and the other diaphragm back and forth even more slightly than your dynamic. That creates a gap between the diaphragm and the backplate. When there's that gap, and that space is moved and changed, and it's on a tiny, tiny scale. Just that much movement is enough to generate a signal. A signal that then goes through the cable to the device. We talked about all of this. The difference between these two, one is powered, one is not. One takes a lot of energy to move, relatively speaking. One does not. What does that mean? Tiny variations, tiny vibrations on this condenser mic means it has more dynamic range, way more detail in how you sound, way more nuance, yeah? But it picks up on everything. Can't take a beating. You heard, I was touching it and it can very easily distort recordings. High sound signals do not like condenser mics. If you're recording shout takes, death scenes, monsters, if you're a heavy metal band and you're screaming, if you're recording drums, you gotta watch your microphone technique. You have to watch your recording settings because it will distort it. Hot take, I don't think a condenser should be your first mic that you buy. I think they're way too sensitive for amateur spaces and amateur recording artists. They are the industry standard for professionals in professional rooms. If you're not in a professional room, don't do it. Why? Why do that to yourself? Okay, those are the two mics. Let's nerd out a little bit about some microphones that I think are really cool outliers that are not condenser or dynamic or yada, yada, yada. I'm just going to write them out. I'm not going to draw them. That's going to take too bloody long. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. My art classes were in vain. Binaural mics. Three-dimensional mics. It's not actually three-dimensional. They are so sensitive that it makes it sound like that there's space in between you, left and right. If you've ever seen those mics that have the ears, that Amaranth is just... That's binaural. ASMR people love them. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. I once did audio production. It was really weird. It was a radio drama that used binaural audio. It was all about domestic abuse. Really poignant show, really dark, deep, great show. Really wacky and interesting recording experience because it was like from the experience of like the neighbors who heard domestic abuse. And so I would be on the other side of a wall and they had the microphone in the other room and you had to like act out these scenes, but they're recording it as if it's in another room. It's really weird. Really, really interesting. No post-production or anything like that. It's just sound space. Wacky, interesting. Probably not going to use it unless you want to go down the route of jacuzzi streams. Next. Ribbon mics. Oh yeah, ribbon mics are super interesting. The clue's in the name. They literally have a ribbon of metal, really thin, usually aluminium or something really lightweight. And those are suspended in an electromagnetic field inside the mic. It's whack. And so as you talk into it, the ribbon vibrates very sensitively. It vibrates and it creates a sound signal, same way that we established earlier. But the ribbon can break really easily and not a lot of people know how to fix it once it's broken. It's just kind of old tech. Really nice, warm vocal tonal quality to them. They're the hipsters of the mic movement. If you're a hipster of mics, oh, I got this ribbon mic. Dynamics condensers are just much easier to control, much easier to produce, much easier. It just became the industry standard. Hydro mics. Yeah. Okay, so underwater mics, the sound frequencies travel differently in water. It's much faster in water, actually, than it is in air. So normal microphones, we've established, use diaphragms and air pressure to create sound signal. Hydrophones do the same, but with water pressure. And how sound changes that. This is stuff from like World War II, I believe. It's just cool. It's just really cool stuff. Are you ever gonna buy a hydrophone? No. But it's cool stuff that we just have this technology that kind of people don't really know about and forget about. This is a rabbit hole I'm going to go down. Let's stop that. If you're going to be on the road and you're going to be in a busy, loud environment and you want a stylized sound, if you're going to be the next big podcaster, go dynamic and we'll rock it out. Just don't buy the SM7B unless it suits your voice. Everyone buys the SM7B because I think at some stage it got out that this is the one you buy. If you're in a sound-treated studio and you want beautiful dynamic range and detail to your recordings, go condenser. I wouldn't buy $1,000 Neumann condenser though. I don't think you need it. This bad boy, 350, 400 bucks. That's a pretty good entry point. Ocean Eyes, that song from Billie Eilish, Phineas confirmed it was recorded on an $80 mic. Audio-Technica AT2020, $80 to $100 mic. It's cheap. You do not need to spend a lot of money on that. But most importantly, prioritize audio and just use whatever tools you have to make the sound that you want. The right tools will make your life so much easier. Some tools are better than none. Christ, we haven't even gotten into mic placement. I mean, like louder, you can hear me now, and then I go away, and then it changes. We haven't even got ORTF, midside, XY, all of these different microphone placement pattern, polar diagrams, cardioid versus. Just leave. Leave before I go down another rabbit hole, okay? And until then, Alice in Wonderland, keep recording.